the ancient Romans weren't the only ones to master the construction of aqueducts. From the past to the present, here are the top 15 most impressive aqueducts. Number 15. Pundu Guard. As one of the world's most marvelous pieces of ancient architecture, the Pundu Guard Aqueduct is an amazing example of Roman construction. The beautiful structure was built between the years 40 and 60 AD to carry water into the Roman colonies of Nimes. The aqueduct is an impressive 275 miles long on its uppermost section. The Pundu Guard stands as the highest Roman aqueduct bridge, and its mostly intact condition has proven it to be one of the most durable. Because of its historical and cultural significance, the Pundu Guard was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. Number 14. Valons Aqueduct. The Valons Aqueduct is a gigantic structure located in Istanbul, Turkey. That's one of the best preserved remnants of the Eastern Roman Empire. At the time of the Valons Aqueduct's completion in the year 368 AD, Istanbul was known as Constantinople and was the capital city of the Eastern Roman Empire. The structure is named for the emperor who completed it, Roman Emperor Valens. It was functional for centuries, used by both the Byzantines and the Ottomans, and carried countless amounts of water over its lifespan. Today, it's one of the city's most recognizable tourist attractions. Number 13. The Cantiloc Aqueducts. The Cantiloc Aqueducts are a network of water conveyances that can be found just north of the city of Nazca, Peru. They're well known for their highly interesting spiral shape. The Cantiloc Aqueducts are part of a network of aqueducts of similar shape and sign, known as puquios, which were constructed about 1,500 years ago by the Nazca, a group of people who preceded the Inca civilization. The aqueducts provided a reliable stream of water to Nazca cities and the surrounding area, supporting the growth of various crops in the dry region, including beans, cotton, and potatoes. Number 12. Hampi Aqueducts. Located in Karnataka, India, Hampi is a once thriving site that served as a crucial part of the Vijayanagara Empire during the 14th century. Hampi isn't only home to some of the world's most stunning temples and monuments, but also boasts an extensive system of aqueducts and canals that stretch across the entire site. Like many of the other aqueduct sites on this list, Hampi is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is also a popular pilgrimage destination for followers of Hinduism. While a few of the canals were already built during the time period preceding the Vijayanagara Empire, the majority of Hampi's vast waterways were built under Vijayanagara rule. The ancient aqueduct system connects pretty much everything at the site. Canals go from temples to palaces to water storage units, and even to nearby farmland. For its time period, the construction of the Hampi aqueducts was truly an impressive feat. Number 11. Tunnel of Eupalinos. Excavating tunnels has got to be one of the most difficult engineering jobs that people who lived during ancient times undertook, because it would have required knowledge of multiple sophisticated fields including architecture, geology, and engineering. This makes the construction of ancient waterways an incredibly interesting topic. Found on the Greek island of Samos, one great example of an ancient Egypt aqueduct is the Tunnel of Eupalinos. Constructed around the 6th century BC, the Tunnel of Eupalinos is one of the first known tunnels that was dug out from end to end. Using only ancient tools such as picks and chisels and relying on simple laws of physics, ancient builders accomplished an astonishing feat. In the end, this incredible tunnel was able to intake from a nearby inland spring and transfer more than 400 cubic meters of water per day. Number 10. Yodaela. Yodaela, also known as Jayaganja, is a 54-mile-long water canal that carries excess water from a nearby reservoir to the Kalawewa Reservoir in Anantapura, the major city in Sri Lanka. The water conveyor is known for being constructed during the reign of King Dathusena in the year 459 AD. Dathusena was the ruler of Sri Lanka from 455 to 473. As the first king of the Mauryan dynasty, Dathusena was able to unite all of Sri Lanka under his rule, after invaders from South India had seized control of part of the country. Aside from reuniting his kingdom, Dathusena was also extremely successful in carrying out a massive civil engineering project. Not only was the impressive waterway Yodaela one of them, King Dathusena also constructed 18 irrigation tanks. Some of his other great feats include the construction of the Avukana Buddha statue, as well as a statue of Gautama Buddha. Number 9. Bar Aqueduct. The Bar Aqueduct is a stone water conveyance that can be found north of the starry Bar Fortress in Bar, Montenegro. Aside from just looking absolutely gorgeous, the structure has an impressive history and cultural significance. The Bar Aqueduct is the sole remaining aqueduct in all of Montenegro. Aside from being one of the best preserved aqueducts in the region, it's among the largest aqueducts found in any other former Yugoslav region, rivaled only by the Diocletianus Aqueduct in Croatia and the Skopje Aqueduct in Macedonia. The Bar Aqueduct was built during the region of the Ottoman Empire in the 1500s. Aside from its impressive water-carrying capabilities, the aqueduct also included a bridge that spanned across the valley. It provided water for the town of Stari Bar from a spring on Mount Rumija, located about 3 kilometers away. Unfortunately, the entire structure was destroyed in an earthquake that occurred in 1979, but it has since been renovated. We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button. Number 8. Thoroughmere Aqueduct. The Thoroughmere Aqueduct is a section of water supply system in England that spans an impressive 95 miles. Constructed between 1890 and 1925 by the Manchester Corporation Waterworks, the aqueduct is an absolute monster, able to carry 250,000 cubic meters of water every single day from the Thoroughmere Reservoir to Manchester City. The tunnel section of the aqueduct is not continuous. Still, its pleasant appearance and impressive stature have impressed people to the point that false stories have been touted about the aqueduct. Unfortunately, it's often incorrectly referred to as one of the longest tunnels in the world. The waterway was constructed in multiple phases after it was approved by the Manchester Waterworks Act of Parliament. After the first phase finished development in 1897, Manchester spent the next 28 years completing the project. After the first drop of water arrived from the source into Manchester, an official ceremony was held on October 13, 1894. Number 7. Aqueduct of Santiago de Cueritaro. The city of Santiago de Cueritaro, also known simply as Cueritaro City, is a large city located in central Mexico. Running right through the city is an amazing marvel of engineering that provided water to the city as early as 1738. The Cueritaro Aqueduct began being built only 12 years earlier by command of Juan Antonio de Urrutia y Arana, the Marquis of Villa de la Aguila. The massive aqueduct boasts 75 arches and stands 75 feet tall at its peak. The composition of the water bridge, crafted out of pink Cantara stone and cobblestone, was the result of a number of incidents of Cueritaro City residents falling ill from consuming contaminated water. However, according to local stories, the Marquis' choice to fund and develop the aqueduct was motivated by his true love for a Capuchin nun, who was also known as Sister Marcella, who went by Clarissa. Unfortunately for him, the Marquis was already married at the time, and Sister Marcella had conflicting duties to the convent of Santa Clara. While they would never be able to express their love physically, Marquis had the aqueduct constructed as a tribute to Sister Marcella. Number 6. Aqueduct of Vanviltelli. The Aqueduct of Vanviltelli, which also goes by the name of Carolino Aqueduct in honor of King Charles III of Bourbon, was built between 753 and 1769, with the intention of delivering water to the fish pond, the fountains, and the cascades displayed in the gardens of the royal palace of Caserta. To the benefit of many, it was also able to provide water to a few villages around the mountain area. Additionally, it provided irrigation to the farmlands and benefited the water supply to Naples. The engineering mastermind behind this centuries-old structure was a genius architect by the name of Luigi Vanviltelli from Napoli. His Baroque and Neoclassicism style, as well as his incredibly developed sense of scenographic style, had earned him the job. The aqueduct supplies water to the Regio di Caserta and the San Lucio complex by drawing water from its springs at the foot of the Taburno Mountains. The water is carried 38 kilometers through the ground and goes right up to the palace. Impressively, the water drops only half a millimeter in height for each meter of length as it travels, providing a slow yet steady stream. Number 5. California Aqueduct. The California Aqueduct is a giant network of water-conveying tunnels, pipelines, and canals that run through northern and central California, all the way down to southern California. Officially, the aqueduct system is named the Governor Edmund G. Brown California Aqueduct. Edmund G. Brown was the 32nd governor of California, serving from 1959 to 67. As a key structure of the California State Water Project, one of the largest public water management projects in the world, the California Aqueduct stretches an astonishing 400 miles long. The aqueduct begins at the southwestern section of the Sacramento-San Joaquin River Delta and travels southward, eventually dividing into 3 branches. The California Aqueduct was created as part of a $1.7 billion bond approved by a vote in 1960. As the water conveyor reaches the Tehachapi Mountains into Southern California, it pumps an unimaginable amount of water 2,000 feet into the air, which is one of the world's highest water pumps. The California Aqueduct boasts 10 storage dams, 11 additional dams, and over 700 miles of canals. And while the California Aqueduct is already an impressive piece of civil engineering, it hasn't gone without its controversies. In fact, there are still hundreds of miles of planned development that have yet to be built. Number 4. Colorado River Aqueduct. The Colorado River Aqueduct, while not quite as ancient as some of the grandiose Greek and Roman structures on this list, is equally massive and is also a great feat of engineering. Abbreviated as CRA, the Colorado River Aqueduct stretches for over 240 miles as a water conveyor through Southern California. The CRA is operated by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which is the largest supplier of treated water in the entire country. The CRA draws water in massive amounts from the Colorado River at Lake Havasu, which sits on the border between California and Arizona. The water conveyor was developed and designed by civil engineers William Mulholland and Frankie Weymouth of the Metropolitan Water District. When it was originally constructed in 1933, it was the largest public works project in Southern California. The aqueduct was built during the Great Depression and employed over 30,000 people over 8 years. The CRA is composed of 100 kilometers of canals, nearly 150 kilometers of tunnels, and over 130 kilometers of underground conduit and siphons. The CRA also has 2 reservoirs, 5 pumping stations, and throughputs 1.5 cubic kilometers every year. Number 3. Tambomachi. Most likely constructed by the ancient and mysterious Inca Empire during a long-lost time period, Tambomachi is unlike any other aqueduct. This stone landmark is an entire series of aqueducts, canals, and waterfalls that run through a network of beautifully terraced rocks. Since its discovery, this archaeological site has been attributed to the Inca Empire and can be found near Cusco, Peru. The name Tambomachi most likely comes from the Quechua word for inn, tampu, and the Quechua word for cave, mache. Locally, the historical site also goes by the Spanish name El Baño del Inca, which translates to the Bath of the Inca. And there is a reason it's known as the Bath of the Inca. The site is located just next to a number of natural springs, including those near Huelacocha, a community of Inca land. It also lies next to a boiling hot spring named Timpocpiqui, which sits along the Timpoc River. Because Tambomachi is such an ancient wonder, the original purpose of its construction is hard for researchers to determine. Some have speculated that it was built to function as a military outpost to keep out anyone heading toward Cusco. Others said it served as a hot spring resort area for Inca elites. Some archaeologists have found reasons to believe that Tambomachi may have been a religious site and served as one of the 9 sects, which were a series of ritualistic pathways. They have described it as a site where sacrifices were made. Number 2. Le Ferreira's Aqueduct. Also known as the Point del Diable, or the Devil's Bridge in English, the Ferreira's Aqueduct is among the largest and most well-known in the world. Constructed by the ancient Romans, the Ferreira's Aqueduct was built to carry water to the city of Tarraco, which is now part of Catalonia, Spain. Located only 4 kilometers north of the city, the aqueduct has been regarded as such an important part of European history, it became part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 2000. The structure carried water an impressive 15 kilometers from the Francoli River in Catalonia, all the way into the city. By most estimates, the Ferreira's Aqueduct was constructed about the time Caesar Augustus ruled the Roman Empire, which was from 27 BC to the year 1480. The aqueduct is not only a historical and cultural landmark, it's a testament to ancient Roman engineering. The structure stretches a total length of 249 meters and rises to a height of 27 meters. The Ferreira's Aqueduct is made up of 2 levels of arches. The upper section reaches an impressive total of 25 arches, while the lower one has 11. Earth dips down. Even today, this stone monument stands as one of the most impressive landmarks in its region. 2,000 years after it was built, the Ferreira's Aqueduct remains a highly popular tourist attraction and has even been the subject of a number of supernatural myths. Number 1. Aqueduct of Segovia. Built during the latter half of the 1st century AD by the powerful Roman Empire, the Aqueduct of Segovia stands as a testament to the strength and capabilities of the Roman machine. The aqueduct can be found in Segovia, Spain, and remains as one of the best preserved aqueducts built by the ancient Romans. Today, the structure stands as a symbol of Segovia and can be found on the city's coat of arms. What remains of the aqueduct today stands at over 28 meters tall at its peak and is about 6 meters deep at its center. The structure stretches across an astonishing 15 kilometers through rolling hills and into the city of Segovia. Because any inscriptions on the aqueduct have become illegible, whether by erosion or simple lack of understanding, the age of the aqueduct has proven to be a challenge for researchers to determine. The most accepted conclusion is that it was constructed around the 1st century. In the 1990s, a historian named Geza Alfoldi deciphered a dedication plaque at the aqueduct and claimed that the Aqueduct of Segovia was constructed by an order of the Roman Emperor Domitian, and that the structure must have been completed by the year 98 AD. Still, other historians dispute the claim, estimating its completion date to further into the 2nd century. Its grandiose and unmissable appearance has made it one of the marvels of its region and draws countless visitors every year. Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.